This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Today we are taking a little bit of a more detailed look at this amplifier that possibly you saw me unboxing on Thursday and giving you a sort of a first impressions look at it. This is the Fazley Galactic Tube 5 amplifier. It is an all-valve or all-tube, depending which terminology you want to use, 5-watt amplifier with 2 channels, made by the Fazley brand, which is owned by Bax Music. It costs £174. That's the current price on this amplifier if you want to own one. Bax Music very kindly sent me this amp for review. I don't get to keep the amp, and all of the opinions and conclusions that I reach about this amp are my own. I'm not getting paid for making this video, so just get that little bit of disclaimer out of the way. Anyway, the Fazley Galactic Tube 5-watt all-valve amplifier. Let's have a listen to what it sounds like in a mix. And before we go any further, a little bit of housekeeping. The settings I was using there, let's have a look at the top panel of the amp. There it is. You can see you've got a clean volume and overdrive section. You've got gain and volume and then a shared EQ. The clean sounds, I was using the clean channel, obviously, with those settings, those EQ settings. For the cleaner sort of sounds, basically the guitar's volume was dialed back a little bit, and then for the crunchy, power chordy sort of stuff, it was exactly the same settings, clean channel, but with the guitar's volume cranked all the way up. And then for the kind of shoutier solo bits, it was the the overdrive channel, again with those same EQ settings and that amount of gain and so on. We've had a look at the top panel of the amp there. Let's have a look at the back panel. There is nothing to talk about there. As you can see, no real connectivity there. There's no effects loop. This amp doesn't even have built-in reverb. It's just a basic meat and potatoes 5-watt valve amp. Well, before I forget, there is a full tab for that piece of music in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats along with a clip of me playing it and a jam track for you to play along with. All of that is, as usual, up on my Patreon page. There's the address, and the link is in the description. $3 or £2.50 a month gets you access to all of these additional resources that go along with these YouTube videos. A massive thank you to everyone who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are also linked down below. Yes, so no effects loop, no reverb, all of the kind of delays and reverbs that you heard me using in that demo piece, they were all added in Reaper after the fact. So, you know, if you're looking for an amp that has lots and lots of connectivity and different effects built in and everything, then this probably isn't the amp for you. It is, however, the amp for you if you want, you know, budget tweedy kind of vintage Fender style guitar tones. It does that kind of thing extremely well. That's what it sets out to do, and I think it achieves it really rather well. Tell you what, let's have a listen in isolation to some of the tones that we get out of this amplifier. Again, clean channel. Let's have a look at the settings again. Clean channel with those settings, guitar's volume cranked all the way up, we get this kind of tone. As you can hear, it's got that sort of kind of slightly cranked vintage Fender amp kind of tone. If I then roll the guitar's volume back a little bit, it cleans up beautifully and gives you a lovely warm clean tone like this. If you're playing blues or blues rock, well, certainly blues, just that one channel is possibly all that you'll need. You know, it's you've got a good kind of crunchy lead tone there and a nice warm clean tone. You know, for many guitar players of a vintage ilk, and let's face it, that is who this amp is aimed at. I can't imagine there are going to be many Slipknot enthusiasts going out and buying an amp like this. So if you're into kind of vintagey kind of, as I say, vintage Fendery kind of tones, then this amp just on that one channel can probably deliver everything that you need. Let's have a listen now to the Overdrive channel. When you click this in, you will notice that there is a bit of a, well, quite a noticeable increase in noise. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. The other thing to bear in mind is that to go to the Overdrive channel, I'm going to have to lean over and press the button on the top of the amp there. You can see just to the right of the clean volume control, because there is no foot switching with this amp. You've got to kind of use the switch on the top panel. Anyway, let's go to the Overdrive channel and hear what that sounds like. Possibly you can hear the noise that is coming from the amp at the moment. I don't know if it's how intrusive it is listening to this video, but it's in the room here. It is very, very noticeable. I'm just going to get rid of it. Again, looking at the settings on the amp there, you can see I had the gain control, you know, maybe at about, what would you call it, about 1 or 2 o'clock on the dial. Anything more than that, and it does start to kind of sound a little bit flabby to my ears. So for, you know, for kind of higher gain stuff, maybe this isn't the amp for you. I wouldn't really kind of use that amount of gain or any more than that amount of gain from this amp. But it produces a usable enough high gain tone. And as regards the noise, I mean, the reason why you buy an amp like this, I would guess for most cases, is to get cranked valve amp or tube amp tones at, kind of home-friendly volumes. I'm going to talk about that in a little moment as well. And most people are going to buy this amp are probably going to be using it for home recording, I would guess. And if you're recording, then you just kick a noise gate, and that's certainly what I did on that demo piece. Just use the built-in noise gate in Reaper, and all of that noise is suddenly gone. But it is a noisy sounding amp without that kind of thing. Without, kind of taking action with it like that. Now, the volume levels, let's just get rid of that for the moment. The volume levels. Now, in where I'm recording at the moment, I'm looking at a window which is obviously on an outside wall, and this wall over here is an outside wall. The wall behind me is an outside wall, and that wall to that side of me is, on the other side of that wall is our bathroom. So the point is, I have no neighbours adjoining me on any of the walls in this little workspace that I've got. If, however, you live in an apartment or a flat, as we call them over here, then you're going to have very, very understanding neighbours if you're going to crank this amp up to the point where it delivers the kind of tones that you want, really. I mean, the whole point of a low wattage valve amp is that you can crank it up to the point where it's breaking a sweat without, kind of leaving your eardrums shattered in bits on the floor. It's not oppressively loud in here. It's comfortable enough. I'm not kind of my ears aren't hurting from the volume of the amplifier, but you will have to have very, as I say, tolerant neighbours if you have adjoining walls with them, because it is louder than you think it's going to be. My Marshall, my usual choice of amplifier move this week, and probably see it there, the Marshall DSL1. That's a 1 watt combo, and that is noticeably quieter. Noticeably less loud, let's say, in this room. This 5 watt Fazley amplifier does punch some air out and and produce some decibels, let me tell you. It's just something to bear in mind, if you are in, living cheek by jowl with your neighbours, it's possibly not an amp that you're going to want to be, or that you're going to be able to crank up in that sort of situation. It wouldn't be my first choice of amplifier for my main amp. I am much too fond of the classic black Tolex white script logo gold control panel Marshall. Let's not be coy about it. I'm much of a fan of Marshall amp tones, and I've never been. I don't dislike the kind of tweed kind of amp sort of tones, but they're not my first choice of tones for any guitar situation, really. I just prefer Marshall tones, and that's it's raspberry jam and strawberry jam, isn't it? You like one or you like the other. That said, the price of this amplifier, £174, it does get you thinking, it might be worth just having one, just as a kind of as an alternative, just as a set of different set of tones to have for whenever the need arises. I've had fun playing through this amp. A change is as good as a rest from the usual Marshall tones, but I don't think it's going to win me over as a convert to from the kind of Bletchley Marshall kind of grunt that I'm so fond of. So there you have it, folks. That is my review of the Fazley Galactic Tube 5 watt amplifier. If you're interested in more details, check out the link in the description. It is not an affiliate link. I don't get any kind of kickbacks if you buy one via that link, but what it does do is it lets Bax Music know that you've visited their site from my YouTube channel, and that then possibly will encourage them to send me more stuff to do videos like this with. So if you're interested in checking the amp out, check out the link in the description, is basically all I'm saying. And that's pretty much the video for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed it, found it useful and informative in some small way, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so, and why not drop me a like while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream time every Friday, 5pm UK time, where we drink beer and talk about music and guitars. Great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.